Welcome to Carver County. I wish it was under different circumstances. This is a tragedy for all of us. To you, Prince Rogers Nelson was a celebrity. To us, he's a community member and a good neighbor. To his family, he is a loved one. In life, he was a very private person. We're going to continue to respect his privacy and his dignity and hope that you will do as well. And hope that you do as well. We also respect the media's right to information. Bear in mind that this incident happened about 29 hours ago and continues to be under investigation. There are some things regarding this investigation that I will not be able to talk about. I'm going to give you a statement, and we will then take some questions that you may have. At about 9:43 yesterday morning, we received a medical call at Paisley Park in Chanhassen. Chanhassen Fire, the Carver County Sheriff's Office, and Ridgeview Ambulance all responded to the call. That is our standard protocol, and it's not unusual at all for us to have everybody respond to a medical like that. They found an unresponsive male in the elevator. CPR was initially started, but was unsuccessful. He was pronounced deceased at 10:07. We have identified him as Prince Rogers Nelson, 57 years old. Staff members from Paisley Park had been unable to contact Prince yesterday morning and went to check on him. They found him unresponsive and called 911. Deputies went through the building to make sure that there was nobody else inside. There should be no, we ended up contacting the Hennepin County Crime Lab to help us with that, and there should be no inference taken from that. It's not unusual for them to come out and do those types of calls. We finished with our processing late yesterday afternoon and turned Paisley Park back over to Prince's representatives. Again, because this investigation is ongoing, I will not be answering questions on whether or not there were any items that were taken during our processing. The Midwest Medical Examiner's Office was contacted, and Dr. Quinn Strobel, Carver County Medical Examiner, responded. There were no obvious signs of trauma on the body. The body was transported to Dr. Strobel's office for an autopsy, and that is being done today. Results from that autopsy may take several weeks, which is not unusual. Again, this will continue to be an open investigation until the autopsy results come back, and we are ready to take questions that you may have.
From Sky News.
Yes, ma'am.
One of the 911 callers said that there were people in the home who were distraught. Could you tell us any more about who was in the home with Prince at the time of his death?
There were some staff members that were there that had went to check on him, and that's all I'm going to respond to at this time.
Suicide note found?
I am not responding to any kind of questions regarding what may have been taken. We have no reason to believe at this point that this was a suicide. But again, this is early on in this investigation, and it's continuing to, we'll continue to investigate.
Sure.
Sheriff?
Any indication of how long he had been in that elevator? Had he been wearing clothes from the night before? Was he wearing new clothes?
We have not received that information from the medical examiner's office at this time. It had not been in the couple of minutes before first responders had arrived.
I'm sorry.
And it had not been within the couple of minutes before the first responders had arrived though, with them.
Sheriff, you said he's a very private person, or was a very private person. Was he a healthy person?
I'm not the right one to answer that. We'll let the medical examiner talk about that when that time comes. Sir, go ahead. Yes.
Are you able to confirm whether Prince was taking any medication at the time of his death?
I am not able to confirm that at this time at all.
Was there medication taken out of the home?
Again, I'm not going to get specific on what was taken or was not taken from the home.
Do you know if he there have been these reports that he could have been on some sort of medication, Percocet, things like that. Have you gotten any evidence of that? Have you talked to anyone about that?
This case is currently under investigation, and I'm not going to talk about that.
Sure. Have you asked for records from Mullen, Illinois, as well as his pharmaceutical records locally?
We will be, between us and the medical examiner's office, we will be looking at all of that, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
There are reports that he frequented a local Walgreens several times in the past week. Have you been there to talk to the employees there? Have you pulled any surveillance video, and what have they said?
That is part of the investigation, and that would be our normal protocol, certainly, to pull any type of video or so on.
So you have visited?
That's not what I said. I said that would be our normal protocol. This case is 29 hours old, and it continues to evolve for us. That will be part of the investigation. I don't want to comment on that right now. Okay, go ahead.
Do you know when the last time he was seen alive, and at what point he had retired for the night at the house?
The information we have right now is that he was last seen about 8 o'clock Wednesday night
Where was that?
at Paisley Park. He's been dropped off.
Just a question.
Sir.
You said there's no reason to believe that this was a suicide. Is there any reason to believe that foul play was involved?
We have no reason to believe at this time it's a suicide. The rest of it's under investigation.
No, approximately how many doctors you will be speaking with? Did he have multiple?
I don't have that information right now. I don't know. He was on the first floor, whoever asked that question.
Is the Prince family cooperating with this investigation? Are they pretty willing and helping? Because I talked to a couple family members yesterday, and they said they're trying to keep a lot of things kind of quiet. Are they working with you in any way?
Yeah, I've had contact with Prince's family and Prince's representatives, and they have been very cooperative. We haven't had any problems with that at all.
You say no obvious signs of trauma.
Yep.
What does that mean? Like, what would be a sign of trauma? Like, what is it that you're clearing?
Well, a sign of trauma would be some sign of violence or something violent had happened. There was no sign of that at all.
Was Wednesday night around 8 p.m. Was he out, or was that just him being at home by members of his staff? Was he out and about in the community?
Somebody dropped him off at home, about 8 o'clock that night.
So it was the staff members that saw him last, or it was an acquaintance that you all spoke with that last saw him?
Yes, that is correct. Sheriff it was an acquaintance that he was with that dropped him off.
Sheriff, was it usual that he would be the only occupant of this huge complex? I mean, you said that staffers tried to get in contact with him and were unable to do that. Were there no security personnel?
Prince is a very private person, and I don't think that would be unusual for him to be there by himself.
Sheriff, you mentioned staff was trying to reach him. The person that actually made the 911 call, do you know their relationship? Are you able to share that?
911 callers' information is private, and I can't share that.
Was that a staff member?
Again, 911 callers are private.
Sheriff, do you know if the how he was dressed at the time? If he was in day clothes or his sleeping clothes, overnight clothes?
He was in clothes. I can't say I know for sure at this point what he sleeps in versus what he may go out in. So I don't know for sure if those are sleep clothes or what type of clothes. He had on a shirt, he had on pants of some sort. He was dressed.
Sir, question here. Was there an elevator phone? And if so, when was the last time this elevator was inspected? Do you have any of that information?
I don't believe there was an elevator phone.
Excuse me, sir.
I don't think so.
Yes. You say that he did collapse in the elevator. Was there any signs that he may have hit his head, or was it just a simple collapse?
There was no obvious signs of trauma to the body that we observed. Now, I don't know at this point what the medical examiner may have found during the autopsy, if anything would have showed, but there was nothing at all that indicated an obvious sign of trauma.
How would you describe the mood? Could you detect a mood inside Paisley Park at that moment when, obviously at that moment, Prince was there? What was the mood inside the Paisley Park?
It was certainly somber. He was a friend, I think, to the people was there, as well as being an employer. and they were certainly shook by what had happened. Sure.
Sure. Does your department staff members under investigation and any potential criminal charges?
This all continues to be under investigation, and we'll do a complete and thorough investigation. And it's better with this for us to do it well than for us to do it fast. So we're gonna do the best job that we can.
Sure. We're going to follow up with. Were you a Prince fan yourself? Did you like his music?
Yeah, it certainly. I'm the same age as Prince is, and yeah, know his music well, and sure, I like Prince's music. Yeah, sir.
How many employees were there when you arrived?
3. There were 3 people that were there.
Are you asking anything from the public?
I would ask for, again, Prince was a very private person, and I would ask the public and everybody to respect that privacy and treat that with dignity, as well as all of you with that. So I want to thank everybody for coming. This is certainly a big event internationally and nationally, and I can tell you that we are going to leave no stone unturned with this and make sure that that the public knows what happened. So.
Dr. Kornfeld was contacted by Prince representatives on April 20th, Wednesday night. Dr. Kornfeld is a nationally recognized expert on addiction treatment and pain management. He set into motion a plan to deal with what he felt was a life-saving mission. And that mission was to get Prince to a doctor in Minnesota on Thursday morning. He contacted a trusted colleague of his. That Minnesota doctor cleared his schedule for Thursday morning to provide privacy to Prince. Prince did not show up for that appointment on Thursday morning. The second part of Dr. Kornfeld's plan was to send his son, a staff member, for Recovery Without Walls, which is an outpatient clinic in Mill Valley, California. Andrew did a red-eye flight, was picked up at the airport by Prince representatives, taken to a hotel in the Chanhassen area close to Paisley Park. He was picked up again at about 9:30 and taken to Paisley Park. Andrew's purpose in being there was to describe the Recovery Without Walls program, to familiarize Prince with that. Prince could go there for pain management and any addiction issues So he had asked to meet with Prince that morning. Prince at some point that morning was scheduled to meet with the Minnesota doctor. When he arrived, Prince was not available. They went looking for Prince, couldn't initially find him. They saw the staff representatives apparently found him in an elevator, unconscious. One of the staff members started screaming. Andrew heard the screams and went to the elevator where he saw that Prince was unconscious. Andrew was the person who made the 911 call describing a medical emergency at Paisley Park. Andrew, Mill Valley, California, not locally, he didn't have the address for Paisley Park. The 911 call doesn't have an address. He didn't know the address. He was at Prince's place, Paisley Park. Thursday morning, yeah. He got the phone call on Wednesday evening, and he immediately contacted a Minnesota doctor because he couldn't get there himself. Yeah. That doctor would do an assessment to get a feel for the nature of the problem and make some recommendations and treat him if need be at that time. And Dr. Kornfeld would arrive on Friday. Well, it was difficult. Yeah, it was difficult. Yeah. Arrive after a red eye and go to talk to Prince in a positive way, and he arrives to see him dead in an elevator, unconscious in an elevator. So it was certainly a difficult time for him.